So how long has this been going on, this thing? How long?
Get Out is written and directed by Jordan Peele and has gained a lot of attention and praise for its portrayal of racial relations in America. In this brief discussion I want to focus on one issue in particular, and that is the issue of white fragility and the role of movies like Get Out in challenging it. White fragility was coined in 2011 in an academic paper by Robin DiAngelo to bring attention to American white people living in social environments that protect and insulate them from race-based stress, providing them with racial comfort but also lowering their tolerance for racial pressure, leading to what is now known as white fragility. There's a footnote to this which adds some nuance about the mediating role of social class, with working class whites being less racially insulated than those living in the suburbs. Nevertheless, the larger social environment still contributes to the racial insulation and protection of whites as a group in many ways, one of which is through movies. A great source for understanding the relation between white fragility and movies is the recent documentary I Am Not Your Negro, based on the writings by James Baldwin. Like Get Out, I Am Not Your Negro doesn't just address the more well-known forms of racism and racial prejudice, but also focuses on the more progressive, well-meaning liberal whites and how they contribute to silencing voices from people of color, leaving them trapped in the sunken place. As Jordan Peele explains, the sunken place means we're marginalized. No matter how hard we scream, the system silences us. Unlike classic examples of blatant racism in movies, white fragility seems to be more insidious. This is because black actors and racial issues tend to be included, but they are distorted, wrapped in a comfort blanket to lower the amount of racial stress for white people. This is done by desexualizing black characters, emphasizing how well-meaning the leading white character is towards the racial issue, and perhaps most importantly, by including a moment of reconciliation to assure white people they have nothing to feel bad about. A great example of this is The Defiant Ones, about which James Baldwin writes,
"When Sidney jumps off the train, the white liberal people downtown were much relieved and joyful. But when black people saw him jump off the train, they yelled, 'Get back on the train, you fool!' The black man jumps off the train in order to reassure white people, to make them know that they are not hated, that though they have made human errors, they done nothing for which to be hated."
In Get Out, the fragility of white people does not receive this mercy. Even in the final scene, which hints at a possible moment of reconciliation,
"I love you,"
Jordan Peele stays relentless. And I think that in his disregard of white fragility, he actually gets an important message across. An authentic perspective of black people in America that doesn't cater to the comfort of white people and can actually contribute to the better understanding of racial issues, even if it feels challenging at first. For it is exactly this inclusion of authentic voices in movies, not just in front of the camera but behind it as well, that can help us to better understand each other. To conclude with the words of the great film critic Roger Ebert, "When I go to a great movie, I can live somebody else's life for a while. I can walk in somebody else's shoes. I can see what it feels like to be a member of a different gender, a different race, a different economic class. To live in a different time, to have a different belief. This is a liberalizing influence on me. It gives me a broader mind. It helps me to join my family of men and women on this planet. It helps me to identify with them, so I'm not just stuck being myself day after day. The great movies enlarge us, they civilize us, they make us more decent people."